Hello, friends. I want to thank you for joining me for this week's musical moments. A few of you have asked about my sources for these hymn stories, and some of the sources come from my poorly handwritten notes when I was in school. Uh, but a great source for hymn stories is a couple of books that I happen to have, written by a guy named Robert J. Morgan. Then Sings My Soul, and then Sings My Soul Book 2. Great name for books of hymn stories. I love it. Sometimes a hymn has a story behind it, and it's one of tragedy. And oftentimes people think that most hymns have a great story behind them, based on personal conviction or tragedy or life experience, a life changing moment. And while that's true in a lot of cases, sometimes the story about the author is what's more interesting, at least to me. And this morning, I want to talk to you about one that's just that. A gentleman named Charles Gabriel. And the world saw Mr. Gabriel at times as a failure, a failed marriage, a failed business. But, beloved, God uses people who fail because there's no other type around. And so, never forget that. Charles Gabriel was born on a small farm in Iowa to a Methodist family. And when he was 17, he began life on his own. But while he was at home with that Methodist family, his mother and father bought a small reed organ and encouraged him to play it. Charles had a gift for that. He taught himself. And by the time he was 16, he was leading singing in schools. It wasn't called choir directing back then, he was just leading singing. And he had a very promising future. He married, and unfortunately, because of his teaching music and traveling, his marriage failed. So he decided to start over in 1887, and he moved to California. He had tried to start a publishing company to publish some of his music, and that failed. But as he moved to California, he found a job in 1890 working for Grace Methodist Episcopal Church in San Francisco. And when Easter Sunday came around, the superintendent came to him and said, "I need you to write a song for Easter so that we can share it with others and tell them of God's great gift." Charles Gabriel sat down and he penned the words, "There's a call comes ringing over the restless waves. Send the light. Send the light." Folks, most of us know that song, at least the chorus by heart. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, and let it shine forevermore. There happened to be a missionary from the East East Coast, that is, that was in that church. That's Easter Sunday. And he would take that song back with him, and it would be as well received on the East Coast as it was on the West Coast. In fact, that single song had such immediate popularity that it put Charles Gabriel back in the limelight as a songwriter, as a hymn writer. He had tried once before to support himself by writing hymns, but he'd failed. Because of the instant popularity of the song Send the Light, he was going to get a second chance, and he would. Within 2 years, he was in Chicago devoting his full time to writing and publishing hymns. And I'm going to read you just a few of the hymns that Mr. Gabriel gave us over the years. Because in all, he edited 35 gospel songbooks, 8 Sunday school songbooks, 7 books for men's choruses, 6 for women's, 10 for children, 19 collections of anthems, and 23 cantatas. But he's known better for his output of 7,000 hymns, including the ones I'm getting ready to read you, and some of you will go, wow, didn't know that was the same guy. He wrote the music for the hymn, His Eye is on the Sparrow. He wrote the words and music for I Stand Amazed in the Presence. What a Savior. He is so precious to me. That will be glory for me. In loving kindness, Jesus came. He wrote the music for Just When I Need Him Most, Higher Ground, The Way of the Cross, Since Jesus Came Into My Heart, and Will the Circle Be Unbroken, just to name a few. As you begin this week, beloved, I encourage you to remember, no matter how the world sees you, what matters is how God sees you. And I hope He sees you as one of His children. God bless.